Captain. All the latest home videos in beta and VHS.
Aye, some so current, they're still in theatrical release.
Help yourself, mates. A chest full of video discs.
No!
What good are they?
Can't record on them.
They're not compatible with my system.
Captain, this was locked.
Stand back.
Open that up.
Gather around me, buckos, and feast your eyes on this. Make all the illegal copies you want. Put it on.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Hi, kids. Randy Nader for Art Remnants. This weekend at Art Remnants, we're having a special one-time-only sale. We must make room for the new models, and everything must go. All originals, O'Keefe, Smotherwell's, Frank Stella's, just $7.98 a pound. You heard me right, just $7.98 a pound. Rembrandts, Miro's, Picasso's, and Cézanne's, just $11.98 a pound. Marcel Duchamp's, $12.48 a pound. Max Weber's, $14.50 a pound. Man Ray's, $13.78 a pound. And this weekend, special one-time-only offer is Marc Chagall's Delilah has put Samson to sleep for the incredible low price of $4.44 a pound. Come on down to Art Remnants. Art Remnants sale begins this Saturday at all Art Remnants stores. There's one near you. Bye, kids.
Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do ya still want me? If I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, put the blame on me.
Did you know that every 7 minutes a black person is born in this country without soul? Hello, I'm B.B. King. Won't you help Don Simmons and the thousands of others that suffer from this tragic disorder? Its cruel symptoms can strike anyone. Let's take a look.
I think the Republican Party has done one heck of a job. Don't you, June?
I'll say, Ward, we Republicans have turned this country around.
Safety and good mileage are the 2 things I looked for in a new car. That's why I bought a Volvo station wagon.
Hi, I'm president of the David Hartman fan club here in Glendale. I've even met David Hartman once. What a neat guy.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. Good luck will rub off when I shake hands with you.
This is B.B. King saying, won't you please give, so that Don Simmons here and so many others can become useful members of society.
Or below me a kiss, and that's lucky too.
Right to blacks without soul. Post Office Box 1305A, Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
Even the nicest neighborhood can be spoiled by neighbors. It's no good to complain. It will still go on, day after day, week after week. At NNS, we know people are just no damn good. Are you mad? Are you really mad? Are you really, really mad? Then it's time for you to call us today and learn about NNS, Neighborhood Nuclear Superiority. Not an import, not an over-the-counter toy, or an unreliable terrorist imitation. The NNS system is made here in America, by Americans, for Americans. And by producing millions of them, we pass the savings on to you for any size target, from something as big as a city block to something as small as a doghouse.
I called NNS, and they really helped by inflaming my natural paranoia and reinforcing my territorial imperative. And you know what? This tactical nuclear warhead just attached to my garden hose with ordinary hand tools. Oh, jeez. Well, you don't want to drop one of these babies. Thank you, folks at NNS.
That's right. The courteous, helpful folks at NNS have the weapon that's right for your family.
This offer not available in any store. Call today and learn more about this amazing system. Isn't there someone you know who deserves neighborhood nuclear superiority?
I like cream pies as much as the next guy. Oh, don't say it out loud. Oh, okay. Let me make a cream pie for you, okay? Then you can try it. See what you think. I do not want to taste your cream pie. They taste great. I can guarantee it.
You've tasted yours?
Of course I have. Haven't you?
No!
I've tasted mine. I didn't like it. I've tasted mine, yeah. I liked mine.
New from Pacific Arts, the amazing new LP from Michael Nesmith live at the Palais. Like coleslaw? Beautiful coleslaw instantly. How about French fries? Makes French fries with just a flick of the wrist. This fabulous new LP chops, dices, grinds, twists, folds, and agitates almost all your favorite food. Live at the Palais from Michael Nesmith smashes tomatoes perfectly. Like noodles, this fantastic LP makes big, thick noodles with just a shove. Makes noodle dough gooey, too. See how easy? Rush out now in a buying frenzy. Live at the Palais, the amazing new LP from Pacific Arts.
Is he in English or Russian?
In English. Come on, berserker. Girls think sexy. I'll watch. Wait, he's gonna sing it. Watch, it's too funny.
My love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
That's fucking funny, man.
Did he say making fuck?
Hi. Are your parents forgetting to take their drugs? Mine used to, too. Well, now that they're getting older, they do forget. Some of them have gotten so health conscious they don't even use them. But the truth is, now is when they need them most of all. Running the world is a bitch, and they were totally unprepared for it. So what can you do to make sure they get off every day? Give them these. Colorful, pleasant-tasting Elvis drugs. They make drug-taking fun. And parents love them, as they remind them of someone who shaped their early moral judgments. And we make them in the flavors they used to love best. Cheeseburgers, French fries, cherry Cokes. Here in our Elvis drug labs, our trained researchers discovered a high-potency formula. And then we shaped them like little hound dogs, guitars, and teddy bears. Elvis drugs, all shook uppers, love me tenderizers, and blue suede ludes. Elvis drugs, the fun way for adults to get the drugs they need.
Don't say no to this fantastic offer. Send your entire wallet to yet another Elvis ripoff box, 1 million Old Shap Expressway, Nashville, Tennessee.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and it's full of pep. We're gonna start with high jump. Just watch this chorus steps.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. This is our 98th episode, and I don't have a title. I just threw it up there a couple hours ago. I didn't even post anything about it. So if you saw it somehow, then whatever way that how you found out about it, it's working. So hopefully you got a notification because you subscribed to the channel and you hit the bell for notifications. Or you just know to come here every Tuesday at 8. I'm going to run some clips before I get on and talk to you about comics. Not just a comics show like any other comic show. For those of you that are new, I am an owner of a comic store in Berkeley, California. My name is Yule. And you can see scrolling down on the bottom of the screen all about our hours of operations. I just recently recorded a message for our telephone and answered the messages. I just finally said, I think it's about time. We really should put something up there so people know what our hours are and everything. And I do this every week. I talk to you. I get on other people's shows, and I usually can comport myself with a level of professionalism as much as you can. Usually I show my face, but when I'm alone, it takes up the whole screen, and it feels a little funky. When I have a guest, I'm more than happy to show my face. But you know what I'll do here for the time being? I'm going to do this. And I'll start my cam. There you go. Hey, it's kind of like I'm right here. Hey, everybody. I own a comic book store, and this show is all about me owning a comic book store and what it's like selling Marvel, slinging DC, Image, and all the other things. And some of the things that we do, we're looking forward to. And we're going to actually, why don't I put this on the screen? Okay, so tonight's show. R.I.P. Mike Nesmith right off the bat. I feel really horrible that last week I didn't end the show with the song that I've been playing of his the last few weeks. And then he dies like the next day. Am I responsible? It's sad. I liked him. Love the Monkees and silly stuff. Elephant Parts. Which was like my uncle's videotape and one of those really super rare things until the internet came about. The internet the way it is today. You can just find it. Hopefully someone's seeding it. And I've never got a copyright claim on any of the stuff that I played of his. So I thought I'd go for it today. So there you go. Alex Ross has announced something, and it's all very interesting. We're going to talk about new comics that are coming out tomorrow. If you have a store, so this is mostly a show for local comic book, customers of mine. Maybe some that are a little local, but not mine. And anybody else that wants to come along and introduce yourselves if you're from out of town. And if anything that we talk about is interesting, or you want me to try and tackle some subject, put it in the comments down below. I do read them. Just sometimes it takes a little while. It's the last line of defense for me to talk to the public. The last thing I look at is YouTube stuff, but I'm really interested, and it would help me fill out shows sometimes. I put later on in the program, I'll probably show some YouTube channels that I'm really into, and oh man, they get answers or people talking to them so much that they must have to ignore. It's just a quick little like or a heart next to the comment. Maybe you have your kids do it if you have kids, or high school workers maybe in your store. Some cheap labor to go through my YouTube comments. Yeah, so there you go. We're gonna be so Alex Ross had a big announcement, new comic book day. Oh, Fantastic Comics has some news. Oh my gosh, that's us, Fantastic Comics FC. We're going to talk about Images Union, and then maybe I said I was thinking we're going to take a trip to Mother's Basement. We're going to look at a George Perez comic book that he drew, did not write, and that was suggested by Moby, and it was good. I'll talk about it as we look at it. That's a little bit later on. Why don't I, right off the bat, say to y'all,
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
What's up? In the other room, Jill B. Pill said hello, and Fantanium was here right on time. Diablo Hashcraft, yo, how's it going, man? Yeah, of course. There you go. There's the song. And then Eric D. Hey, how's it going? There's at least a couple. Well, I'm one of them because anytime I'm looking at other stuff, I have to look at the chat. So I'm the other one. But if anybody's in chat and you haven't before, or you just, maybe you're quiet, I understand. But, say hi. You can use emojis. That was a waving one, right? Yeah. Excellent. Well, let's start off with Alex Ross. He's a good artist. If you don't know who Alex Ross is, he's a painter. He's done a lot of comic books. Did I not bring it up? Oh no, there it is. Boom. I keep moving into the picture I know. Let me turn that off. There we go. Excellent. I'm not sure if this is exactly the Fantastic Four that Alex Ross was going to do like years ago that he wanted to do. The Tomorrow's publishers, they had I think it was in Back Issue, but it might have been Alter Ego. Basically, Back Issue or Tomorrow's Press does histories on either comic creators, times in comics, or comics and creators. So you have Back Issue, which deals with the Bronze Age of comic books, and you have Alter Ego, which talks about creators. And I think that's probably what this was. And there was a whole issue that was talking about how Alex Ross here wanted to do a Fantastic Four book, and he does everything painterly. It takes a long time for it to come out, but he's pretty on time. If he makes a schedule, he usually sticks to it, and the books come out. And he really hasn't done anything in quite a long time. He's just been doing covers. And here we have a new division, I guess, of... Oh, goodness, I'm screwing up already. This is not a Marvel project. This is Abrams. Abrams is doing this Marvel Arts, and they're going to put out this Fantastic Four Full Circle. It's going to be like 65 pages. It's going to be the size of the original Marvel graphic novels. So any of you out there that have seen the original God Loves, Man Kills, or the first New Mutants, maybe the Death of Captain Marvel, and it's not in trade paperback form, but in even larger size. Those were Marvel graphic novels, and this is going to come out next year, and it's going to be $25. But I expect a lot of people are going to be interested in this. Definitely every single Fantastic Four person that's out there. I have X amount of people that I know already that are going to be interested in this book. I'm definitely interested in this book. Alex Ross is a really good illustrator. There was a time when I didn't like him. He felt like it was back when he was doing the DC portraits. So it would be all the Green Lantern. They were all Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Alan Scott, and then Flash and Batman and Superman and Power Girl and Wonder Woman and on and on and on. And these were all fantastic pictures of the DC characters. But I don't know. There was just, maybe it was youth. I was still in my even more edgy days. So liking Alex Ross probably wasn't, I don't know, he felt stiff. He felt like there wasn't real, like he was painting a very cool picture. One of the reasons is when you see how he sets things up so that he can put these things down on paper, or for us to consume. It starts with someone modeling the character, and we saw that in Marvels at the end of like the series. We saw how he goes about making the pictures, setting up the scenes, and it's very interesting and really cool. And he does a really good job, translating that on the page. But I don't know if I really enjoyed it back then. He has done some really fantastic covers, which were made into posters. And most of those were when he was doing the Fantastic Four. And I'm excited for this. And yeah, there you go. Let me just put this back up. There we go. Hey. So Alex Ross next year, that's going to be coming out. If you're interested in that and you are a customer of mine, I would recommend you let me know. There have been other things that have been announced recently that people have been already contacting me for. The best one was Jim Rugg's Hulk Grand Design, which is going to be not unlike those X-Men Grand Design and Fantastic Four Grand Designs that Piskor and Tom Scioli put out. I'm really looking forward to this. Hulk Smash, it's going to be great. It's going to be 2 awesome issues, and then it will be probably an oversized collection. But it's important that we buy the issues. Don't forget that. All right, this is just knocking them right out. We'll get to New Comic Book Day last. Fantastic Comics news. This is exciting, everybody. So we used to do MailChimp, and for those of you that don't know what MailChimp is, it's just sending out a ton of emails to people. And we have a very extensive list when it comes to the people that are customers of ours over the years. Not all the people are around, whether they are breathing or not, or living in the same area or not. But we still have their names out there, and they're good for voting. Anyhow, we decided to get rid of the MailChimp because that's a very expensive. Well, it's an expense. It's not very expensive. It's an expense, and we weren't utilizing it all the time, and it was just kind of a drain. And we're trying to become sleeker and leaner and much more efficient when it comes to running the store, and getting rid of that is one of those things. But we really wanted to let people know that we were still around. And even more than that, we wanted to let people know that in January, Saga was coming out. And for 3 years, I have not had those customers that would buy Saga from me buying Saga from me. And 3 years goes by and people let it out of their mind, or, people come in and are interested and ask whether or not Saga's been going on. And I say, well, there's been no word. And it just kind of goes on that way for a while. And then less people are either coming in because, Saga was their main thing, and that was bringing them in. If that's not coming out and they're not like super, Marvel zombies, or I don't know what you call DC people, whatever they are, if they're not coming in weekly for stuff like that, there's not always a Saga equivalent, and maybe people don't want to really branch out. So that's been like, one of those things I felt has hurt our business, and it's coming back. And I can't order it like I used to on Shattuck. I don't know how many people are going to come back or in the area, care about comics. Name all the things that they could possibly not want to come back for, even though this creative team hasn't changed. And it's probably going to be just as good. So we sent out a newsletter. And the way we did it was we set up a Substack account. And I know I've kind of like, made fun of Substack before, but this is hilarious if you ask me. And it doesn't matter if you ask me because I'm going to be telling you. I'm sharing screen, so watch out. Okay. You can come right over here to substack.com. And I already clicked on the comics section down here. And this is where Jonathan Hickman and his pals, and James Tynan and his pals, and Scott Snyder and his pals, and on and on and on are setting up pay-per-view, pay per whatever they put behind that paywall. That's what you get. And there's a lot of other things. There's politics and sports writers and people that do betting and all sorts of stuff. Some are for pay and some are for not. And we set up one for ourselves. So all you have to do is just come on in here, Dad, and just go Fantastic Comics. And it's right there. That's Ryan Alexander Tanner's first image that we got for our store. And look, I click on it, and you got Gizmo there. And isn't he cute? And yeah, and then we got this. So we put up this little newsletter. We were thinking, we're going to be able to do this maybe once before Substack is like, hey, you can't use this as like a service that you're not paying for. But we just put anybody that was in that Saga group, we put them, since we had their email address, in here. And then I think we added a whole bunch of other people, and you may have gotten the email. I'm not sure. Go ahead and sign up to our Substack anyway, because if we continue to send out things, this will be fun and kind of a cool little experiment. Anyway, you can go on, click on here, and we don't need to because I'm going to show you what it is. And we were just letting people know about our store, and that Saga was coming back. That was important. And we're going to have a sale. Oh yeah, we're going to be giving away this lion cat. It's a broken lion cat. There's no lying involved, but we want to get rid of it. So anybody that gets that book is put into this lottery, and you'll be damned with it. And yeah, we're having this sale. We had it last Sunday. We're going to have it this Sunday coming up, and then Friday before the 25th, the 24th. We're going to have a situation where you get a gift card of $10 for every 50 that you spend, and it will escalate. Yeah, and then there's a little bit more. I don't want to spoil everything for you. It's like a real newsletter, but you didn't ask for it. But I think you should subscribe. If we can do more things, we'll put up interviews and links to the show and whatnot. It won't be as cool as the Patreon giveaways, which, there are none yet. Sorry, Patreon folk. I'm really trying. We got some stickers in that we're trying out, and there's some more that are on the way, and, just little knickknacks that I think people might dig rather than just, another, I don't know. Maybe we should do one of those specialty comic covers. What do you think? Would you like a Dynamite cover with some artist drawing me with Vampirella? That'd be pretty cool. But I don't know. It seems like a waste of money. But I would, we'd send those out to our Patreon people, and then other people could buy that. I mean, it's like a thing people do. I'm just not really interested in having hundreds of comic. Well, I mean, hundreds of that comic in the store. Anyway. All right. So that's Fantastic Comics news. We're just, like I said, we're just knocking these down. Get rid of that. And let's just talk about some new comics. Oh, no, let's talk about Images Union. All right, great. All right. I'm very interested in this. I don't ever get a chance to talk about it with anybody because nobody really cares that much. So I'm trying to get a little bit of conversation going on. Read up on this. It's very interesting to me. There is a union that is forming from Image Comics, and it's called oh, what is it? It's called the C Comic Book Workers United. Yeah. And all these people here are the ones that were like starting the union in the Image offices, I guess. I'm assuming. And it's like they already know that they've got the vote. Well, all right, so Image didn't play ball, so they're going to go to a vote. And these guys are all, yeah, these people are all, yeah, we're going to vote. And it's going to be at least the 10 of 12 of us that are going to, ratify this union. And Image is going to be unionized, as far as the workers are concerned. They could still play ball, but, it doesn't sound like they really are interested. And there's a lot of people that were kind of slamming Image, but I don't know. I personally still just feel like it's one thing. Like, I think check it out. I think that their demands are very interesting. And some of it is because, it sounds like they want to have a little bit more control of what's being put out there. What the stuff that they talk about that seems real and something that you should really address is, that crunch stuff that everybody always talks about when you're doing like the video games and stuff like this. But, you're working with artists and you're working with printers and people from other countries and you're trying to get that stuff done. It is very difficult, I'm sure. But these people are going to a vote. It happened today. They're going to find out in like the middle of January how the votes went. I'm assuming that it's going to go 10 at least, if not all 12. And they're going to have a union. And then we're going to see what happens as far as, Image is concerned. There have been things that like Jim Valentino has said in the past, or at least has tweeted in the past or something like that sounded like he was down with the idea of a union. But I think when people are thinking about a union in comic books, they're usually thinking about, the talent that gets so effed over so bad all the time. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be, it's a shame. There's usually people getting effed over at least a little bit in all comic, or I shouldn't say comic book, probably all business. There's always somebody that's the work in the mailroom. And it's probably not that great. Not that that's what this is. And like I said, they went and they had a vote, and you can follow them on Twitter. Here's my personal Twitter. I looked them up, and you can see everything's all great. And so there you go. December 14th, they voted, and I can't wait to find out. Oh, it's January 4th. So we don't have that in the beginning of the next year. We're going to find out, and hopefully Eric Stevenson, the Image founders, and Robert Kirkman will come out and have a good discussion. So January 4th, circle that date in your calendar. And so new comics. Let's talk about new comics. Oh, I'm already on brand. All right, very good. I am on brand. First up, Amazing Spider-Man. Oh my goodness. Saladin Ahmed is writing this one. Ever since Spencer left for his Substack deal, there have been rotating. Well, they haven't even had a full rotation yet, but there's been different writers coming on and writing 2 issues. And pretty much for every arc or 2 issues, there's been a different illustrator, with the exception of the cover artist, which is Art Adams. And I think for the most part, the Amazing Spider-Man's been pretty good. I'm liking this Beyond story. It's not one of those things that I really want to see in the book forever. Hopefully they'll go through a rotation of these writers that are working on the book and maybe another one. And within that time, hopefully we'll find out which writer or maybe a new writer altogether that's going to do what will probably be a relaunch of Spider-Man in the future. How exciting does that sound? How about you out there? If you have a book that ends and it's going to start up again, is that a reason for you to take a look and whether or not you think you should keep picking up that book or should you cancel it? I know a lot of people that, they kind of waffle on that. My buddy Jeff, he's sometimes on this show. He just got done with Immortal Hulk, and then Donny Cates' Hulk with Ryan Otley started up. And he's like, man, I just did 50 issues of the Hulk. Well, if the Immortal Hulk was still going on, he would be doing 51, 55, 60. We back in the day would have a brand new person come on, and it wasn't cause to restart a book. They just kept going on. And some of our favorite stuff is not necessarily the beginning of a run, but maybe it is. I mean, is Ditko your favorite Spider-Man? Do you like Kane? Maybe it's when you started reading it. So like maybe Mark Bagley is your like favorite Spider-Man illustrator. I feel bad for you if that's the case. I played that Clerks clip because tomorrow Berserker number 6 comes out. Yeah, that's great. Looking forward to reading that. I just finished the 5th issue. I knew this was coming out and I was kind of waiting on that one. So I read it, dug it, and love Ron Garney's work on this. And one of my go-to books for sure. Now, we were just talking about the Hulk. Number 2 comes out tomorrow. And there's some really crazy stuff that's going on. There's this big Hulk ship that Banner is piloting. And he, where did he go? He broke through this barrier. And I forget where he ends up. But I'll have to look at the first page or the last page of number 1. Nonetheless, I'm looking forward to this. It's a lot of smashing, a lot of fighting. And I'm sure there'll be more to come. Oh, yeah, this one. So this is the second. I did not read the first issue. We sold out of it, and I want to let people know. These are for my customers. Number 2 is coming out. And only a couple of you asked for me to hold it. So check it out. I guess it has something to do with Kennedy's assassination. Yeah. All right, Jupiter's Legacy. This is the last part of, the end of the first part of Requiem, this 6th issue. Expected to get collected eventually. You'll still have 6 more issues to complete this run. And Mark Miller, check out his Super Crooks. It's on Netflix right now. So that's an animated thing. It's weird. It's like, it feels like anime. But I'm sure it's not. I mean, it's not Japanese to begin with. Robin and Batman number 2. This is check this out. Jeff Lemire wrote this. And Dustin Nguyen does the art. Beautiful stuff. Love it. It's like watercolor. It's excellent. Next up. Primordial by Andreas Sorrentino on art and Jeff Lemire writing. This is a mini-series that I have been selling very well. I don't really think I need to say anything about this other than the fact that it's to play the whole Jeff Lemire thing. I think you figured that out already, right? May's book by Jeff Lemire is out, and this is the 4th issue of I think this is a 5-issue mini-series, Dark Horse. And look at that. He's going through DC. He's going through Image. He's going through Dark Horse. That's pretty good right there. Boom, boom, boom. All right, next up we have Batgirls number 1. Becky Cloonan. I think it's Will Conrad doing the art. If you're a fan of the Batgirls, Stephanie Kane, whatever. Cassandra Kane and Stephanie Brown. That's off the top of my head, I'll have you know. It looks like Oracle's over there also. Walter Mosley and Tom Riley on The Thing. This is the second issue. I sold out of the first. I loved it. I thought it was wonderful, and I think I should sell out of this one also. This is quite a fun cover. I really dig it. That's Tom Riley who's doing the work inside. It feels very, old Marvel pop art type stuff, and it really evoked emotion in The Thing. He's all rocks, really. Rocks and baby blue eyes. And there's some real strong emotions that we're like going through, and he's stuck on this like Tinder or something app where he's like, "Are you lonely? You're the perfect guy for us to have on this thing." And yeah, it was interesting. I liked it. So yeah, second issue coming up. Boom. And lastly, I've got Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips on New Burn. Number one, we sold it okay. I think for the people that like Zdarsky a lot and enjoy Stillwater and will even buy his Daredevil, you probably would dig this, unless you can't handle a story that doesn't have capes. Capes or tights, that kind of thing. And I understand. But sometimes when you're ready to branch out, you might check out New Burn. It's about this dude here he used to be a cop, but he got out when he knew the only reason to stay in being a cop was to be dirty. And he was like, I don't want to be a dirty cop. So he starts like working for the mobs, like all of them. And he kind of like works out situations. Someone dies, he gets to the bottom of it, lets them deal in-house so that cops don't necessarily get involved. And this woman is involved in a scene that he comes upon in the first issue, and now they're going to work together. And it was a good first issue. Not really something that I really am interested in too often, but it worked. It's just not something I'm going to go back to. But yeah, so New Burn. We have plenty of number ones for those of you that didn't get them. And if you didn't want them, want a number two, those of you that do, we got a number one for you. Yeah, so New Burn. Check it out. And there you go. That's New Comics. Just rolling right along. Yeah, it's just rolling all along, right along. Let's see. Comics. All right, so we're doing that. Let me get another banner up. For those of you that are interested, you might go over to our YouTube channel if you're on Facebook, or if you are stumbling on us now and are still watching for some reason, you might hit the bell or hit the subscribe button, the bell for notifications, and look at us on all these things, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and now on Substack. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, and we have a Patreon page. That's right. I'm threatening you with sending out stickers and having you come in and pick them up if you're a local Patreon member, and all sorts of stuff. And now we're on Substack, and we're going to have like an article once in a while, and let you know about sales that are happening and things like that. Righty. And I'm going to put this down on the bottom while I get this ready to go. I want everybody to know right off the bat. I have this comic book. Let me see. Let me do it this way. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do this. Now, I have this comic book right here. See, right here. Boom. But it's an annual. Let me get it like that. An annual that cost 75 cents at one time. And that's pretty awesome. 75 cents. I mean, the comics were what, like 40 cents? So 75 cents really wasn't that much more. Not like well, I guess maybe $1 isn't really that much more these days. But when they start doing these like $10.99 and $11.99 books like they did last week, oh my God, that is some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. All right, let me look at a couple of comments since we have some. The newsletter sounds snazzy. Let me tell you, it was a really cool thing, getting that Substack thing and sending it out to everybody. And I don't know, it's funny. It's like it's gaining the system or something. Fischozo is here. Yo, Fischozo. Let me see. What is this now? I'm thinking of a piece of action figure sales. A piece of action figure sales. I'm still marking my count. Very good. So next Sunday, we're having a 20% off sale on books and back issues. And then that Friday that follows is the 24th. And we're doing a thing on that too. Isn't it normal for writers to get 2-issue runs in modern comics? I don't know about, probably artists. The writers usually stay on. Writers will hold on for dear life when they've got a title that they're working on. They don't want to give that up, and at least at one time. But if your desire is to go out and maybe be a movie person or actually own your characters so that if they do be made into movies, that you can actually get a larger slice of that pie, you don't want to stick around too long. And that's what it seems like. I think Marvel was very upset with Spencer, and they basically kicked him off Spider-Man because it felt very abrupt. I was reading all the issues, and it felt like we had a little bit longer to go. Not necessarily something I wanted to do, but it felt like we had longer to go. And he announced the Substack thing, and it pretty much was like, well, Nick Spencer, why would you start with Nick Spencer? But Nick Spencer was kind of the one that was like showing people the road. They're like, hey, he was holding the door open for everybody to start running in. And it started with Lemire and Tynion. Tynion was in the middle of his Batman run that everybody loved. He announced that, and he then kind of like shat out the last story. And I didn't read it, but I know a lot of people that were kind of upset with it. And yeah, he kind of feels like he's 1 foot out the door, even though he's saying, oh, I'll still be doing this. And Nice House on the Lake, which is really good, is going to have a little bit of a delay, a little bit of an interruption. Hickman left Marvel to go over to Substack, and he's taking some people with him, at least for a little bit. And that's like, I'm really bummed with a lot of the X-Men and the way they turned out. That was one of the most promising, X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold, X-Men with Rosenberg and Red and all that stuff really wasn't all that great. And any amount of liking it that I had was because of maybe the team up, and maybe there was an okay artist on the book, but it wasn't because I was really fervent. And Hawks and Pox with Hickman was, a turnaround, and we sold the shit out of it at the store, and it was awesome. But as far as writers to get 2-issue runs in modern comics, I think only when they're doing these little, super, I don't know what I'm, like a super group, like the Traveling Wilbury, maybe not a super group because it's what's a mediocre group? The Traveling Wilburys. I loved Uncanny X-Men before it went right into House of X. I loved Uncanny X-Men before. Oh, I see. I understand. There was a lot of stuff that was going on, and Rosenberg was trying to tug on some heartstrings with that Rain story, but not all of it really rang true. And he was basically just, it was like a mutant snuff film. Fischozo, I totally agree. Frank Miller's run Daredevil wasn't a number one. Exactly. And look at those issues, all the way to like 192, I think it was. We do have a bunch of variants for Berserker. You know that. Shiny ones too. Who doesn't like that? All righty. Let me let Linda say it.
All right.
All right. And then I thought I moved it up, but of course I didn't. Or I did, and I moved it up too high. Jeez Louise. Will it matter? You know what? It does matter.
Here! I'm down here! Down here!
Mr. Sheldon?
That's right. It's Mother's Basement time. I'm going to share screen. And here we go. Boom. All right, Moby, here you go. The thing about reviewing a George Perez book because we like George Perez is often just somebody writing a book that George Perez is going to do the art in. And this is, I think this is the only X-Men book that he does. I've got a beer here. I'm going to sip it for a second. I love this picture though with a Storm, on the ground. Everybody's on the ground except for Cyclops, foolishly shooting a Archon shield. But look at Wolverine. I kind of dig that. He's just kind of like, ugh. It's pretty cool. Anyway, if you like Gladiator type guys. Also, the thing about it, you got the corner box. Who doesn't love the corner box with all the faces? That's obviously John Byrne's faces for the X-Men. And I guess that means mine's a newsstand copy. Oh no. Oh yeah, it's different than mine. It's hard to get these pictures scanned sometimes with these annuals because the spines are so square. And yeah, it's a Chris Claremont comic book. There's a lot of words. Oh, look, there's a reference to Hembeck and Byrne right there on the building on the top. That's cool. Anyway, I don't think it's really important to go through the entirety of what is happening other than there's this explosion that leads to Archon showing up in New York City, somewhere he's been before, I guess. His first appearance was in Avengers 75, 76. And the Avengers dealt with him. And he wants to go and find the Avengers. And more importantly, he really wants to find Thor. And Thor's not around. Jarvis answers the door. And dude starts attacking him. And I guess he can talk to his people on his planet. And the Vizier is talking to him. And it's like, there's another person you can go to. Cue to the X-Men. And this is a double splash page that it ain't going to work out. My Photoshop skills suck. I'm sorry, guys. But this is classic stuff. And, you've seen some good George Perez here also. It's still early in his career. He has all of the 80s and 90s and early 2000s to work. So I think this is still the 70s. No, yeah. It's probably 78, 79, something like that. And I love the editorial. It lets you know that this is between issues 124 and 125. And if you're an X-Men person, you know that the 124th issue was when they escaped Murder World. 123, I know, is my first issue of X-Men that I purchased. And then 125 starts that whole Proteus bit. And Jean Grey is involved, and it's really fantastic and great. And it starts the Dark Phoenix saga, unless you have to go in the earlier issues. Really, you got to start reading by 94 giant-sized X-Men, and that's the Phoenix saga, all the way from giant size to 138, I think is, or maybe 143 when Byrne leaves. But these annuals, just good standalone stories mostly. And the Danger Room is out of control because Storm loses her cool. She's stuck in these jets, and this is pretty much a Storm-centric story. She's still very much affected by claustrophobia because when she was a kid in Kenya, there was an explosion and she was buried beneath the rubble, had to stay for hours. She freaked out and she can't do anything. She doesn't even like if she is in bed, she does not want the covers tucked in, untucked. Anyway, she loses control and sends a piece of metal through the danger room, operating room. Banshee almost loses his head. It fries the computer circuit and everything goes haywire. Awesome art. It doesn't translate so great unless it's a very clean copy. But even still, there is so much stuff going on in 1, 2, 3, 4 panels. God, this is some great Perez right here. Excellent. Because, a danger room explosion scenario that lasts for like 5 or 6 pages isn't really that big a deal. But, you get to, if you're only buying one comic book when you come in and it's that 75-cent book, it's extra thick. You're getting a lot of action right at the beginning. Wolverine's Wolverine. Colossus gets to be Colossus. And the threat's real enough to where you have to worry about your characters up in the beginning. Doesn't mean the only thing that matters is that Storm screwed up, though. Cyclops finishes that off by turning off the emergency switch with his I-beam. His Cyclops blast. Storm's really upset about it, and Cyclops goes and tries to console her. She goes up to her room, which is the attic, where she has her forest, her plants, and everything. And she ruminates on whether or not she should be back home in Africa, where it's simpler and easier. And then that's when Archon sneaks up on her, but she's not having any of it. And she sends him down to the ground where the X-Men go to work immediately. Cyclops. Well, all right. So beware. Know that Banshee can't do anything. His sonic scream is burnt out. I'm sure the smoking doesn't help. This is some classic stuff. Good action right off the bat. Colossus turning into Peter, turning into Colossus, and then totally slamming Archon. And the team goes to work. Great action. What else could I say? Expertly done. Good stuff. And then this is the crux of it. This bolt that Archon throws hits Storm, and she disappears. And the X-Men are able to subdue Archon eventually by a tree, by Colossus just slamming this tree into him. And Wolverine's gonna threaten him. Nobody knows if Wolverine's really gonna do it or not, so Cyclops has to call him off. And then Cyclops remembers the fact that Archon was in the news. He dealt with the Avengers, and he knew something about these different bolts that he threw. And since it was the yellow ones that he used to when he attacks Storm, Cyclops deduces that they should do that for them, and they go to Archon's world. Again, a nice splash page. You see everything you really need to see. They're in trouble right out the bat, and they're totally going into it. They've got Archon. His people attack, and the Vizier takes off. And Nightcrawler follows, and Colossus, Cyclops, and Wolverine are stuck fighting. And fight they do. Again, really excellent pages. I don't know what else to add other than then Archon is going to take the tunnels and try and get to Storm before her friends do. Nightcrawler follows that Vizier to this mountaintop, and at that mountaintop, Storm is willing to sacrifice her life to save these people, and Nightcrawler can't believe it. She looks pretty good too. Just before Starfire. It seems that there's something that Storm can do to help save these people, but Nightcrawler doesn't realize that she isn't ensorcelled. And when he goes and I guess attacks her, tries to make her come to. She attacks and doesn't realize it's Nightcrawler at first. And then everybody sees where the lightning's coming from, and they know where Storm is. Peter's got this, Colossus is on the back of this dragon, picks up Wolverine and Cyclops, and they go riding off. And Archon tells this story. Finally, they're not fighting anymore. Archon tells this story about how they don't have a sun. They have these lightning solar rays that power their planet. Cyclops, by the way, has been running low on juice because I guess his mutant power is solar operated, but I think that gets fixed later. Anyway, the reason why he came back to Earth in the Avengers was because the solar lightning, whatever it is, burnt out, and he came and he wanted to snatch up Thor, I guess. And Tony Stark created this device, and with Thor's power, they were able to, recharge the planet. But the machine broke. They fixed the machine, but unfortunately, no battery. So he was coming back to Earth to try and get Thor to help him out. But since Thor wasn't around, they went for Storm. And she's not totally sure whether or not she can do this. So it might cost her life, but she's willing to do it. So Cyclops comes up with this plan because it gets all this energy has to be fed into this machine. And Cyclops' plan is he wants Wolverine and Nightcrawler to work on this doohickey so that it can accept his Cyclops beams, his mutant power. And Wolverine's like, I don't know how to do this. And he's like, dude, you got to do this. You got to try and use Nightcrawler's, knowledge that he's been getting from Banshee. Because, Banshee's always the one that's working on the Blackbird and stuff like that. So they go to work on that. And the concept here is that Colossus is going to hold her. Storm is gonna make this lightning come out, and she's gonna shoot this stuff into Cyclops, and then Cyclops is gonna shoot it at the machine. And they just get done working it, and then Cyclops lets loose, and it works. Yay. The mountaintop explodes with they're on. Who knows what's gonna happen if it goes out again. But of course, what happened to the people on the mountaintop? Did they live? Could they live? Archon lived, and so did the X-Men. Yay, because it's an annual. No one's going to die in an annual. And Archon says, man, you guys are my pals. Anything you need from us, if you ever need anything from us, all you have to do is ask. Did Archon ever have anything to do with the current X-Men? That'd be pretty cool if they they have to suck up this person's land as part of a Rocco or something like that. So there you go, Moby. That's me talking about X-Men number 3. It was an all right issue. I remember not loving it a whole lot when I was younger. It kind of it was just one of those that just kind of it was a lot of words. It was a lot of Chris Claremont. But reading it now, it was pretty fun. And I do like the descriptions. I miss them in comic books a lot. There's no way to know what a person's accent sounds like. I guess it's not the accent. There was a scene in a Wonder Woman comic book where Lois Lane was interviewing her. This is when Phil Jimenez was the artist and he was the plotter, but he had like Joe Kelly writing it, scripting it. And Joe Kelly talks about, or Lois Lane is writing this article that she's writing about Wonder Woman. And at the same time, there's like conversation in her head about Superman and Clark and how Wonder Woman's like, kind of like this perfect person for him and stuff like that. But she talks about the way she smells, the way her accent sounds. And you don't get that you can get that in the inner monologue that goes in comic books, but I really think it's being ignored. And I think a nice little establishing shot visually, a nice little establishing shot in caption box is it's kind of like a rite of passage. It's something you really want to, I think, do in comic books. And it's for me, that's like one of the things that I think is, I could say, oh, like the letters pages aren't in comic books anymore, or you don't get these really monumental runs, or you get a comic canceled and started up with the same team just for a new number one, or we get this endless string of miniseries. I'm looking at you, Symbiote Spider-Man. That would be easily on its 15th issue right now if they just strung them all along. Maestro, there's going to be another Peter David Maestro. And, those are maybe just outdated and something that just old people care about. And I understand that. But as far as like telling a story, having an establishing shot, caption box, having an omniscient narrator that does know everything that's going on, that can address us instead of the main character all the time addressing us. I don't know who they're talking to. I do talk to myself personally. I usually say, what the hell? Why'd you do that? Often if I say anything out loud, hopefully the dog is around. But these people, when Spidey's swinging through town and he's talking to me, I don't know him. I don't know who he's talking to. And I don't really like first-person narration that often. Maybe in my novels, but when it comes, fine literature. But when it comes to my comic books, I'm not that big a fan. All right, check this out. It's almost the end of the show, everyone. So I would really, 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 really like to thank all my patrons. We have a brand new patron, Patrick T, customer of the store, just said, it's not enough that I buy comic books from you. I want to give you a couple bucks too. And I appreciate it. Every month you'll be billed. And eventually there will be something on the other side of that door that you might receive. We're working on it, promise. And working on our Substack. So check that out. Become a member so that if we send out another one, you'll get a little bit of fun information and I don't know. Maybe a picture or two also. Thank you very much, everybody, for being patrons. We really mean it. It helped us out with some bills that we had, and it's really super cool that people care enough. Even and so it's so hard to like just differentiate, between the two. But I have customers that used to be our customers that are patrons. And I have customers that are patrons. And I have friends that aren't either that are patrons. And it's all really super awesome and special. And I really appreciate it. So if any of you strangers out there are interested and are like just, I got nothing else to do with this $3 a month. You go ahead and do that. It beats a streaming service. Well, I don't know if it beats a streaming service, but it's a psycho blast. That's right. All right, Fischozo said he's taking off. Take off A. And yeah, Terry Austin on inks. So good. Terry Austin on inks. That's he's so prevalent in the 80s. Like he was the guy. I mean, Marshall Rogers, he was inking him. John Byrne, he was inking him. Maybe he was inking all the X books. Well, I mean, all the X-Men books, and that's the reason why he did George Perez. But yeah, just super great, super Marvel for sure. I don't usually care. It's like I don't know if I necessarily care about the inkers necessarily. If the inker takes over the penciler, and I like that person more, it's like, Bill Sienkiewicz inking me, all of a sudden my stuff's going to look like a Bill Sienkiewicz picture. Terry Austin really works well with what he's given. And if you have like slight forms, I really like his inks. Oh yeah, Paul Smith too. Just all that stuff at that time was really wonderful. Everyone knows about Storm's claustrophobia. I don't know if everyone does these days. I know you're not here, but I can't think of a current storyline where her claustrophobia has come into play. It may have, but I haven't read everything in the X-Men books lately. But she's on Mars anyway, so I don't even know if she's doing anything. So yeah, if you just came in 5 years ago reading X-Men, or maybe just the beginning of the Hickman run, because you don't read X-Men unless a really great writer's on it. I can't think of anything that Storm did to suggest that she was claustrophobic during the Grant Morrison run. And Joss Whedon, I don't think anything happened during that. And if you stuck with those and dropped off on all the other stuff a person might not care about, I'm thinking the really big writers. Some people might not think Chris Claremont coming back to write a very good, third time Uncanny X-Men is worth a dang. Maybe the Chuck Austin books, that kind of stuff. Maybe Peter Milligan, a good writer, but anyway, I'm ranting. I want to say thank you, everybody that came by. I didn't really do a lot to promote the show. We're coming up on our 100th episode. It's going to be after the 25th. We have one more before the 25th. And I'm going to try and make that 100th episode. Let's see. So 99, 100. Maybe a best of / worst of. If anybody wants to, come up with your own lists. And when we're talking about it, I'll make some categories for next week. And anybody that wants to take part of it can on our 100th episode. Until then, I want you to hang out and check out this video. If you haven't watched Elephant Parts, it's all on YouTube. No big deal. You can just totally check it out. Well, actually, I'm not sure the Pirate Alphabet is actually on YouTube, but go to Michael Nesmith's site and you can check this out and other things. Bye.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions. And just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam. Lucy and Ramona and Sunset Sam. People on the streets trying to find a plan. People on the streets looking for a land. Lucy and Ramona and their brother Sunset Sam. Yes, sir.